Welcome to my review for the HITWAY H9 Pro. HITWAY were kind enough to send me this scooter to let me review it. So, not only is this the first e-scooter on my channel, this is the first e-scooter I've ever ridden. The e-scooter came in a nice compact box and it was pretty much already built. I just had to put on the light and the display. It should have actually been pretty easy, but I've never used one before, so I had no idea what I was doing, and I think I made it harder than it needed to be. So when you build yours, like, have a look at the manual, it tells you how to do it in there. I skipped that bit and tried to do it without and had no idea what I was doing and ended up having to read the manual anyway. The first issue I had was unfolding the handlebars. I didn't actually realise, because I've not used one before, that there's a little pulley thing that unlocks the lever, and then you pull the lever and that's what lets you unlock the handlebars, and then you can fold them up and down and then obviously lock it back in place. I had not realised that. The next issue I had was fitting the display. It took me a good 10 minutes looking through the box to find the screws and couldn't find them anywhere. Opened the tools that you got with it to see if they was in there, they weren't in there. Looked in the manual and it turns out they're already in the handlebars. You actually have to unscrew them, take them out and then put the display on and put them back in. So yeah, no wonder I couldn't find them. So I got the display fitted, got the scooter charged, and it was time to see what it was like. Turned it on, pressed the throttle, nothing. Pedal assist 1, nothing. Pedal assist 2, nothing. Pedal assist 3, nothing. Right, why isn't the throttle working? Again, I read the manual. It turns out that you need to push start it, and it's not a big push start, it's just you need to push start it and then it kicks in and lets you use the throttle, which is a good safety feature, but it baffled me for a bit. So normally I get the e-bikes, I take them out, put them in the max pedal assist and just pedal away and go and see how it goes. On this I put it in assist level 3, which is the max, pushed off with the throttle fully held down, and like, it went quicker than I expected. So I'd advise maybe put it in assist 2 and hold it down halfway until it starts setting off and then use your throttle. Right, you don't want to set off too quick, it's a bit ooh. So I went down the road, headed to the seafront, down the course road. All went great over the bridge, and then went down to the actual coast itself, and then we get a bit of a snag. So basically around here our council are really lazy. They don't clean the sand off the beach paths that spills over from wind, etc, and it gets quite deep. It's deep enough to the point whereby I can't ride an e-bike through it, I have to get off and push. But because of the small wheels on the scooter, not only could it not ride through it, I couldn't push it through either, it just wouldn't push, and it's quite heavy, so I just couldn't get through that part, so I had to go back down the path and round the normal way. But it was quite deep. So before we carry on, let's have a look at the parts. It has 10-inch solid tyres that are 3 inches wide, so nice big chunky tyres with a big grip on them. It has 130mm mechanical brakes on front and back, which are really nice and stop really good. There's a nice big bright display unit. For some reason on camera it flickers, but in person it just stays constant, so not really sure why that happens. The standing plate is 8 inches wide, nice and long, and it's rubber so it's nice and grippy. There's also a bit at the back of it you can put your foot on that's metal to stop you from standing on the rear mudguard, so it's a really nice plate to be fair. It has front and rear lights, and the rear light's also a brake lighter, and also when you're walking it blinks so it's easy to be seen. In addition, the scooter has indicators either side on the footplate, nice long lights, and it beeps when they're active so you know to turn them off after you've turned. Unfortunately they're not super bright, so during like bright sunlight you can't really see them, but at night time they're absolutely fantastic. When you do actually turn the lights on, the whole side of the footplate just flashes. It's like it strobes in different colours and cycles through, I don't even know how many colours, but it cycles through different colours, and then it gets to a multicoloured part and then starts to cycle again. It's really nice, looks cool, and makes you very visible at night. So realistically, with your lights on, you're going to struggle not to see this thing at night. So I think it's a great thing for safety if you're going to be using it on the roads and stuff. The scooter comes with a 500 watt motor, and I think it peaks at 800 watts. Now the scooter is fully folding, The handlebars fold down, you just twist the little bits and then fold them in, and the main handlebar stem folds down as well, so it's a nice compact little folded scooter. The scooter that I'm using is the H9 Pro black and orange version. This is the most expensive in the range at 650 quid because it's got a 48 volt 27 amp hour battery. They also do a H9 Pro black and grey, which is £580 with a 48 volt 20.8 amp hour battery. Then there's the H9 black and red, which has a 15.6 amp hour battery, which is £500. Now, as far as I'm aware, all three are basically the exact same scooter. The only difference is, as the battery size increases, the weight increases, and obviously the price increases because you're getting more for your money. But the actual basic components of the scooter, as far as I'm aware, are identical. Also, if you use my code NEG30 off, you get a £30 discount on any of the three scooters, which is good to save money. Having said that though, the batteries are sealed inside the plate. You can actually take them out if they're damaged or you need to replace them in the long term, but you wouldn't really be able to take them out on the fly, so personally I'd go for the biggest battery because you get more range. The scooter also comes with front and rear suspension. Now when you bounce on the foot plate, there is quite a lot of movement in the suspension and it is really springy. So what's the scooter actually like? Speed wise, it got some 15.5 mph nice and easily. It will do 25 if you unlock it, but I tend to keep mine locked. In addition, you have 3 assist levels. Assist level 3 will do 15.5 mph, 2 was about 10 mph, and then 1 was like 5-6 mph. Now, on an e-bike I don't really use them, but on this scooter, especially when you're in crowded spaces and there's people about in the paths and stuff, it's really nice to just drop down to an assist level and you can manoeuvre through crowds really easily that way and you're not a danger to anybody, and it's a really nice feature. The ride position's really nice, the footplate's quite high off the floor so you're nice and tall. The handlebars lower or raise so you can make it at whatever size you want, and yeah, it's a nice comfortable position to ride in. Comfort wise I'm conflicted because, as I said, the dual suspension is nice and springy, it's really nice, but it's not an e-bike, and I don't want to penalise the scooter for not being an e-bike because they have 20x4 inch fat tyres, obviously a much bigger suspension, they have a comfortable seat so it absorbs a lot more of the ground than the scooter does. Now as I said, this is the first e-scooter I've been on, and even though it's got the big chunky tyres and the dual suspension, which are really nice, you still do judder when you go over rough surfaces, and it makes me wonder what the lesser scooters are like because with the tiny thin tyres and no suspension that must be brutal. So even though you've got the big chunky tyres and a nice suspension, I'd personally still stay around rough bits just to save you the juddering. Now as far as off-road goes, this land on dirt trails and grass and bumpy surfaces no problem. It's just unstable surfaces and big rocks and stuff that you don't want to go on, and it's obviously limited by the size of the wheels compared to what a bike can do, but as a scooter it's really good. Now in honesty, when I got sent this scooter I looked at the small tyres, and even though it's got a 500 watt motor I was a bit dubious about its ability. Now I was thinking I might not do the hill test, but then I thought, well, let's do it. So during the hill test it did struggle in bits getting up a hill, but bear in mind usually I'm ghost pedaling, which does help it a little bit. On this it was all done by its power, and it actually got the entire way up the hill without me helping it at all, which I was extremely impressed by in honesty. The scooter also comes with an app that's really easy to install. You can connect to your scooter really easily with it, and it'll change your assist levels via your phone. You can turn on and off your lights. You can obviously do that on the scooter as well. When I got the scooter I changed the kilometres an hour to miles per hour because I'm in the UK, and even though I did that, the distance I travelled stayed in kilometres. Now I went on the app and there's a way to change it on there. I don't think you can on the actual scooter itself, so it's worth having the app just to do that. It's also got some cool features, so you may as well have a look because you've got to download it anyway. Now as I said, I tested the black and orange version with a 27 amp hour battery, and on an e-bike I'd probably expect 45 to 50 miles from that. But with an e-bike, you're ghost pedaling, so you're actually doing some of the work yourself. Even though it's a little bit, it adds up over the pedals. Whereas this, it's all by throttle, so you're not actually helping it at all. So it's not going to go as far. It actually got 41 miles, which was really nice. This is also why I'd steer towards the 27 amp hour version, because the batteries are bolted in, so you can't change them on the fly. And once you run out of power, you've run out of power, so the more power you've got, the better. And 41 miles is pretty good, to be fair. Now I said before about making you judder over rough surfaces, and it does, because the small wheels just can't absorb the impact as well. But I did 41 miles on this thing and it felt really good, like it was a nice comfortable ride. And if I do that on an e-bike I get saddle sore. On this, the worst thing was my legs. When I stepped off it, my legs were almost numb. And that's because obviously I've not moved them at all, I'd just been standing still while I'd been using the throttle. But once the blood was flowing back into my legs, it was fine again. So after 41 miles I'm quite impressed at how well I felt. So what are my final thoughts on the e-scooter? I think the range in this thing is absolutely insane. I mean, 41 miles is more than most of my e-bikes do, like quite a bit more. Because it's a scooter, it's smaller than the e-bikes, so it takes up less space in your house. It's fully foldable, so it's easy to get in your boot. The build quality is really nice. The lights are fantastic in the dark. It's really nice and bright and visible. I don't think it's as comfortable as an e-bike, but it's more convenient, so there is that trade-off. A big factor is the price. Now if you're looking at an e-bike that'll do the same sort of range, you're definitely looking at a dual battery one. And so the HITWAY BK17, that'll do about 45 mile on a single charge, but that's £1,000, so this is £350 cheaper than a dual battery e-bike. Now I should talk about the legality. Now technically it's not legal to use these on public property, but having said that, I see people using them on a daily basis, kids and adults. Nobody gets pulled over because they're riding sensibly and stuff, but they are technically not legal on the roads. Now there is legislation that's meant to be coming in 2026, but as of yet it hasn't, so they're in a very grey area. Personally, I don't see any reason why they shouldn't be fully legal. It's only doing the same speed as an e-bike. Obviously it has to be on throttle because there isn't any pedals on it because it's a scooter, but they're an extremely convenient, fantastic bit of kit, and they're not doing anybody any harm, so why shouldn't they be legal? Now as far as recommending it, the grey part of the law does have me a little bit conflicted, but as far as the actual scooter itself and the manufacture of it and the build quality etc, it's a fantastic scooter. Really enjoyed using it. I'll definitely be using it more, and yeah, I loved it. So if you're after a scooter, I'd highly recommend this product. So again, if you made it this far, thank you for watching. I hope I helped you make a choice on whether to buy it or not. If you like the content I'm making, please like, share and subscribe, it really does help. Any questions or suggestions, please feel free to put them in the comments. I'll get back to you, or I always try to. And I'll see you on the next video.